I just got done with work for the day and I've got about an hour to fish, and as you can see behind me, we've got a pond, and not only that, I've got my ultralight in my hand. But today specifically, I'm going to be fishing with Berkley NanoFil, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this line because it's a very unique type of line. I've been fishing with it for over a year now, and I just wanted to share my opinions on it because a lot of people have asked me. So with that being said, I don't have very much time, so let's get right to it. Let's catch some fish. I want to try some of this Procure scent. Shout out to my buddy Ramon Outdoors who sent me this. He swears by it, so I trust that it'll work. And I've just got a Donkey Tail Junior that's already rigged up. I'm just gonna use this. Pasture Fire on a 1/32 ounce black mule jig. Just gonna squeeze a little bit of this juice on there. Oh yeah, some gooey stuff right there. I'll just kind of use the boot tail to kind of stick it on there. Oh wow, that's like really sticky. Interesting, well, should work. I don't know, I'm not like huge on scent this time of year, but it is helpful during the winter specifically. Whenever the water is cold, I like scent, but I'm just gonna use it today just to try it out. As I mentioned, we're using Berkley NanoFil today. You know, that's kind of the goal, is to talk a little bit about that, but mostly the goal is just to catch some fish. I've talked about line in my videos a lot in the past, but I wanted to start to focus in on specific types a little bit more, similar to how I do ultralight rod videos. I want to do some ultralight line videos because I think there's a lot of good options out there, and there's a lot of different options out there. So I really wanted to just help people to make a decision that's going to work best for them. I can honestly tell you that I really like this Berkley NanoFil, but it's very, very weird and it's very, very unique. So I want to talk about some of those things as I hopefully catch fish, fingers crossed. Oh, I just had a bite. Oh, those little short striking gills. Clearly there's a good population of small fish in here because I've had several little short strikes. It's uncommon for this pond. I haven't fished here in a while, but historically when I've fished this pond, I've caught some decent sunfish. So it's interesting to see. There we go. That's a better one. There's clearly some small ones in here though. Yeah, that's a dinky bass is what that is. Dang it, he popped off. That's all good. I'm having no issue feeling the bites, and I will say, I think that the line is helping. I really do like this NanoFil for a lot of reasons. It clearly is sensitive. It's got a nice feel to it. It's not like some, mono and fluoro that get a lot of memory to it. It rains pretty straight, so it's pretty easy to keep a consistent feel on a line. Obviously, it's a high visibility line, so it's nice because with ultralight fishing, visibility is so key. Being able to see your line, it allows you to detect bites so much better. That higher visibility line, you can just see it move, and so many of the bites are detected in the line with ultralight fishing. That's why I wanted to start making these videos, is because I think that the ultralight line is actually equally as important as having a good rod. You don't necessarily have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a rod. If you get a good setup with decent line, I'm telling you, that's gonna make a big difference on your success. And like I said, I really, really like these higher visibility options. This NanoFil is obviously white, so it's really, really easy to see. The other thing is, I honestly think that this NanoFil casts extremely well, and it makes sense. It's a very slick line. It's a very weird, unique feel to it, but it's very, 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 very thin in diameter. This is actually a 6-pound test, but it's got to be extremely thin. I mean, it's got to be an even lower diameter than my 2-pound monofilament if I was a betting man. And so because it's that thin and it's that kind of slick, it casts light weights really, really effectively. And that's obviously extremely important to me as well. Now, if I could just catch a fish, that would be great. Like, I am launching this out there just as good as I could with pretty much any other line type. I've used so many different types of line now, and I can honestly say that this is casting just as well as pretty much any other option. There, I got him. There's that dinky bass. Redemption, my friends. That's a total dink, but we're on the board. And I wanted to point out that I am using a leader. This is a 4-pound monofilament leader, and I will say, because this line is visible, I do like to have a leader because it allows me to cut down on the visibility for the fish. So I would say with NanoFil, that is one thing that I personally like to do. Now, if you're fishing really dirty water and you don't think that it matters, you can obviously fish straight NanoFil. That being said, this actually leads to one of the reasons why I actually don't like NanoFil. I have a very big love-hate relationship with this line, if I'm being honest with you. One of the things that I really don't like about this line is the fact that it is so slick. It is such a weird feeling line that it actually does a lot of slippage. So if you tie on a leader line, a lot of times that knot actually fails because the line slips right off. Now, once you kind of get a feel for it, you can kind of correct that. That being said, I had a lot of issues with that when I was first getting started. Now, these days, I just leave a little bit longer tag end when I'm going to clip my knot, and it seems like it helps because it allows for some slippage. But overall, that is one thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this line. There's one. Yes, sir. What is this? Another dinky bass? Okay. Yeah, they must have had a good spawn like a year ago, because there's a lot of these little guys in here now. You know, I'll take them. I'm just glad I've caught a couple of fish now. Nothing big yet. I'm hoping that we can catch like a decent bluegill, maybe a pumpkin seed. That would be awesome. If we're lucky, maybe we'll find a crappie or something, but all in all, I'll take dinky bass if I need to. There he is. That was so weird. He bit it. He came back for it, and he bit it again, and he started swimming right at me. What do we got here? Hey, it is a slab. We caught a crappie. It's a little one, but it's a crappie, and I will certainly take that. Wonder if there's any more out there. Man, I love me some slabs. You guys know that. All right, cool. We're up to 3 fish. You know, while I just talked about some of the things that I don't necessarily like in NanoFil, I actually do want to point out one other thing that has been kind of strange for me. This line is unlike any other, as I've mentioned a couple times. And one thing about it is it actually reminds me a lot of like dental floss. And sometimes it gets this weird fray and you start to like have really thin parts, and then it like bunches up in segments, and then you have to cut that entire piece off. I wish I had that happening now just so I could show you an example, but it's really, really weird. It kind of like peels off almost. It's a very strange deal, but I would say that it is definitely prone to getting weak points in it. Not as prone as like monofilament or fluorocarbon, but definitely not as strong as braid. There's one. Yeah, these fish are biting so strange. It's another dinky bass. Man, there's a bunch of these little tiny things in here, man. Where are the big ones at? Dink City. There we go. There's the beefy gill we wanted. Yes, sir. That's a nice one. Let's see if I can swing him up here. Oh my gosh. That's a good gill. I bet that's a 7.5 incher right there. That's the kind of fish we were looking for. I was hoping for some bluegill. Yeah. Nice healthy fish, and that line just kind of straightened out, and that, my friends, is exactly why it's important to have that higher visibility line. Had a little bit of slack in it and just kind of straightened out a little bit, and I knew that I had a bite, so I set the hook and bada bing bada boom. That's probably our best fish of the day, I would say. I'd be okay if all I caught for the rest of the day was nice bluegill. Holy smoke, something just chased this in. What was that? I bet that was a little bass. That was weird. Oh, looky there. I had a line twist. Isn't that funny? We're talking about line today, and I had a line twist. You know, I will say, line twist is inevitable. This kind of stuff will happen with any type of line. Braid, fluoro, mono, it happens across the board. I will say, in my experience, even though it's happening right now, in my experience, I haven't had too many issues with line twist on NanoFil. I've found that it's been relatively friendly when it comes to a spinning reel. So, all in all, I don't have too many complaints with regards to line twist. The other thing is, I just got that out extremely simply. There's some lines that can be a pain in the butt anytime you're dealing with line twist. And this one right now, it just came out real quick. So I'm actually pretty impressed with the fact that it's not too bad on those things. Oh yeah, that's the fish that I saw chase me in. It's a decent bass. And now this is a good test. Are we gonna have any line failure? I don't think we will. The question is, are we going to be able to land this fish from all the way up here? Because I'm standing approximately 6 feet up this bank, and it's really steep, and that fish choked my donkey tail. But I don't necessarily want to try to test this 4-pound monofilament leader by yanking him up here. That might be what we need to do. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, that's 4-pound mono, and it just lifted a pretty decent little bass. There we go. That mono is stronger than I thought. Looky there. He ate that thing good. Now, this is by no means a giant bass, but for ultralight, that's always a good fish. And I'll take him. Best bass of the day. A dink, but a more respectable dink than the previous dinks. It's all a matter of comparison. See you, buddy. Cool. I'm gonna test my theory real quick. My brain is telling me that a true chartreuse is going to work just a little bit better than pasture fire in these conditions. This water's pretty stained. I think the sun will allow them to kind of key in on that chartreuse. This pasture fire is a good color for stained water, but I don't know. My gut is just telling me that chartreuse is just going to be where it's at. So we will find out in a couple seconds. As I mentioned, the kind of the goal with these line videos is to talk about my experience with them. And I'm not going to make a video on NanoFil having just used it once. I've been fishing with this NanoFil for quite some time now, and so a lot of my experiences are based on just that experience. So today I'm talking about things, I'm obviously fishing today, but just know that I've been testing this line for quite some time now, and I've left it on my reel for a reason. It's funny, I mentioned, it's like I really do have a love-hate relationship with this NanoFil, and it's funny, part of me has wanted to strip this line off and trash it probably 4 or 5 times, but yet I have not done it yet. I haven't had the heart to take it off because the line was still in good condition. And every time I'm about to do it, I tell myself, no, I don't need to take that off. It's good line. And then I fish it again, and then I'm like, you know what? I like this line. I'm glad that I left it on. And it's just really funny because this line is such a love-hate relationship for me. I would say it's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite either. It's just a line that I'm very neutral about. I love it some days, I hate it other days. I've had good experiences, I've had bad experiences. That's another crappie. Dadgum, there actually are a few crappie in here. You love to see it, man. And he freaking choked that. All right, see ya, buddy. I'm gonna fish my way back to my car and then I'm gonna call it a day. Oh, I get him? Yeah. Stinking little bass, man. They're little noodles, I'm telling you. There's got to be a billion of these guys in here. They've all formed a pack to mess with me. Good news. They think that they can mess with me. I can mess with them right back. This is my specialty. Okay, buddy, really? You got to do that? All right, see ya, buddy. Little crappie. All the crappie are the same size too. They're all about 5-6 inches long. Pretty small. See you, buddy. Got him. Yes. Hey, he's not 4 inches. He's like a whopping 7-8 inches maybe. Looky there. He's a little bit older than these last couple fish I caught. Man, even the big ones are dinks. I'm telling you, even the big ones are dinks. Hey-oh. What we got here? We got another bluegill. All right. Well, this one's smaller, but we got another bluegill. That's what we like to see. Dink. Hey, there's a fish. What do we got here? What do you know? A microscopic noodle of a bass. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. This is the specialty for the day. See ya. Wonderful. There's a fish. Hey-oh, what do we got here? It's not a dink. It's not a donk. It's just somewhere in between. And I'll take it. Got a crappie, my friends. Man, we actually caught a lot more crappie than I was expecting. We caught like 3 or 4 of these things, and I would have said I'd be lucky to catch one. Pretty small, but they're crappie, man. You gotta love them. Okay, I tell you what, my brain is pretty much fried, but I do need to wrap it up. This NanoFil right here, what do I think about it? Well, I'm kind of in between. Like I said, love-hate relationship with this line. I think it does certain things really well, but I think it does certain things not so well. So all in all, I would say that 99% of the time, I would recommend a high-performance braid over a NanoFil, because I think that a good quality braid can do everything NanoFil does, except a little bit better. That being said, I do think this is a unique line, and I think that if you are really good at tying knots, specifically leader knots, and you feel that you can tie a knot that's not going to cause slippage, I think that this NanoFil could be a good option for you. But for me, I just think that the braid is a little bit easier, and I just like it better. So anyways, I'm gonna go home because I've got things to do. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for more line videos in the future. I'm gonna talk about J-braid, I'm gonna talk about some trilene, I'm gonna talk about a few other things. I've got a lot that I wanna talk about, and I'm excited to do so. So with that being said, stay tuned. We'll catch you next time.